If you don't want to build a PC yourself, I completely understand that. And if you're also working with a tight budget, I understand that as well. And that's why I made this video on the best budget Prebuilt PCs of the month for the best gaming PCs for the price. If you're a beginner, don't worry, I will explain the components, but also what these systems are capable of running. You will have the links to all of these systems down below in the video description. That being said, let's start. With the first PC, we have the cheapest one on the list for $520, so a really cheap system. The Victus 15L by HP. This one has the i5-12400, the Intel Arc A380 for the GPU, and then 8 gigs of RAM 2x4, which means that is dual channel. If you don't understand anything about computers, this system is a basic 1080p computer, so you will be able to play games like Valorant, Minecraft, or CSGO at more than 100 FPS on average, which is really nice considering you're only spending $520. So if you want to get a 144Hz 1080p monitor, you can do that with this system, and if you also want to play other titles, you will be able to play these games at 60 plus FPS on average depending on the settings. I want to say though, this system is on a huge discount. You are saving $310, so maybe when you're watching this video it's much more expensive, but I do recommend you buying this system only when it's about $500 to $550, not more than that. And if you can afford an extra upgrade, I do recommend you upgrading the RAM to 16 gigs of RAM for just $34. I'm talking about the Team Group T-Force Vulcan C, and to upgrade the RAM is pretty easy, you can do it yourself. Otherwise, you can upgrade it from the HP website as well by clicking on customize and buy, and they do it for you, but it's gonna cost you $70. That's why I do recommend you doing it yourself. It's gonna be pretty easy and cheap, but it's up to you and up to your budget. With the next one, we have the Skytech Blaze 2 from the Skytech website. This one has the i5-10400F and the RTX 2060 for $650. This is a more complete 1080p system and much faster than the Intel Arc A380 because the RTX 2060 is actually 50% faster on average than the Intel GPU from the last PC. So if you can afford those extra $150 from the last system, you will be getting a better GPU, so better performance overall. You will be able to play every title I've mentioned before at much higher FPS. Now, the only thing I don't like about this PC is that it comes with one stick of 8 gigs of RAM. Once again, I do recommend you upgrading the RAM for $33 or so. That way you get the best gaming performance possible out of this system. You also get 500 gigs of SSD, which is more storage than you get on the Victus 15L. The only thing that is worse than the HP PC is the CPU. Here you get the i5-10400F, and on the Victus one, you get one of the latest i5-12400. With the next one, we have the Skytech Nebula, but this time from Amazon, and it comes with the i3-12100F and the NVIDIA RTX 3050, alongside 16 gigs of RAM and 500 gigs of NVMe SSD, which is going to be enough to get you started. Now, because you get 16 gigs of RAM here, you do not need to buy anything extra. Gaming performance will be fine, and the RTX 3050 is actually a bit slower than the 2060 from the Blaze 2 on the last system, but it has more VRAM. You also get a better CPU on this PC, more RAM, and better airflow overall. So I do recommend you buying this one instead of the last one. And if you're wondering about gaming performance, the RTX 3050 was able to manage 108 FPS on average on a 12 game average at high to ultra settings at 1080p. So there's no game that you can't run at 1080p high to ultra settings. Of course, it's gonna depend on the game and settings at the end of the day, but for most titles, the RTX 3050 is going to be more than enough for 1080p gaming. You also get the LSS technology, and it's decent for content creation as well. Now, on that same 12 game average at 1440p, it was able to manage 74 FPS on average, which is really decent actually. So if you want to play at 1440p, of course, depending on the game, it's gonna be possible. Let's say you wanna play games like GTA 5, then you will have no issues. Now, if you wanna play more high demanding titles like Cyberpunk 2077, I do not recommend you going for 1440p, at least with this system. But like I said before, this is more of a 1080p high quality settings gaming system. And with the best one on the list by far, we have another 15L, but this time is much better than the first one I've shown you. This one has the AMD Ryzen 7 5700G for the processor and the AMD Radeon RX 6600 XT for the GPU. The 6600 XT is about 30% faster than the RTX 3050, so it's way better and is the best one in terms of performance out of this list by far. Also, on a 12 game average at 1080p, it was able to manage 128 FPS, once again on high to ultra settings. So like I said before, you will be getting a much better performance for 1080p, but especially for 1440p. If you want to start playing at 1440p, the 6600 XT is the minimum in my opinion, and a much better option than the RTX 3050. So not only you're getting much better performance for both 1080p and 1440p gaming, but you're also getting 1TB of hard drive alongside 500 gigs of SSD. So you get more storage and better gaming performance overall for the price of $930. Is the most expensive one on this list, but in my opinion is really worth the price for a Prebuilt PC. It's on a $400 discount, so once again I recommend you checking the latest prices, because maybe when you're watching this it's not on sale anymore. In that case you will have a PC alternative, but it's not gonna be as good in terms of price to performance as this Victus 15L. Now if you have a higher budget, let's say you have $1,200 or even more, I do recommend you watching my video about the best Prebuilt gaming PCs overall for this month in the top right of the screen. There you will have much better PCs than these ones, especially if you want to play at 1440p or even 4K. So if you are willing to extend your budget a bit more, that video is highly recommended. And if you have any questions about these systems or just any Prebuilt PC on the market, let me know in the comment section. I try to reply as fast as possible. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.